What's going on, everyone? Chargers Now is presented by Prize Picks, and I'm your host, Will Ortner, and I am tired of talking about Quentin Johnston being traded away from the Los Angeles Chargers. Yet the national media continues to force my hand. They are right now making me film this video because they keep reporting on the Los Angeles Chargers potentially being willing to trade away Quentin Johnston. But at this point, I think we all know, from general manager Joe Hortiz, from head coach Jim Harbaugh, from everyone else in that Chargers front office and brass, that Johnston isn't going anywhere. They gave him the fifth-year option. They're excited about what Johnston can do in this Mike McDaniel offense. The Chargers do not want to trade Quentin Johnston. So why does the national media keep saying it? Do you think that the Chargers are going to trade away Quentin Johnston? Be honest with me. Be honest. Go down in the comment section and type, yes, he's going to be traded away, or type, no, he's not. Because in my opinion, I think at this point, we know he's not going anywhere. This conversation has gotten to the level of when my special lady friend asked me, would you still love me if I was a worm? No, I wouldn't love you if you're a worm. We wouldn't be dating if you're a worm because you're a worm. Do you understand? It's the same thing here with the Chargers. No, he's not getting traded away because the Chargers do not want to trade him away. Why would Jacob Infante think this? Well, Jacob Infante, Pro Football Network, he ended up putting out this article where he put trade rumors for every single team in the National Football League and who could be traded away from their squad. And here's what he had to say on why he picked Quentin Johnston. Though Los Angeles Chargers GM Joe Hortiz shut down trade rumors surrounding Quentin Johnston, such a move could make sense. They have an abundance of weapons, particularly at tight end, which could eat into Johnston's red zone targets. Though he's become a solid contributor, he hasn't lived up to his first-round potential, and the other NFL teams could put more value in a player like him. He's not going anywhere, man. I get what Infante is doing. I also understand that finding 32 players that could be traded from teams that are not necessarily your top teams or a team that you know the most about, it might be easy to just look at a player like Johnston. But at this point, I just don't see it. Hortiz has already said that Johnston isn't going anywhere. This is a quote that we took, producer Searle, all the way back in March. I think it's pre-draft. Might have even been all the way into February. General manager Joe Hortiz said, there's been a lot of rumors out there on Twitter, and I can tell you this, I have made 0 calls about Quentin, and I've had 0 calls regarding Quentin. So it feels like at this point, look, everyone has a price, and the Chargers have a price for Quentin Johnston. But that price would have to be so ludicrous. It would have to be ridiculous. It would have to be so aggressive that there's no way that the Chargers could say no. It would be an offer that you could not refuse. Yes, I despise drinking eggnog. But if you gave me $1 million right here, right now to drink eggnog, guess who's going to choke down the eggnog? This guy. It's the same thing with the Chargers. So unless there's a team out there that values Quentin Johnston at a level that we are talking about him being worth a number 1 pick in next year's 2027 NFL draft, and I should say first round, not number 1, but a first round pick, I don't see the Chargers making this move. I think that Quentin Johnston has also shown that he is constantly improving. And because he's constantly improving, the Los Angeles Chargers are not going to want to get rid of him. One, because they've already said they're not going to do it. But why move on from a guy who has shown that he has continued to progress in his time in your organization? I'll break down those numbers and so much more. But first, I do need to let you know that today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app and is the best place to win cash while watching sports. With playoff basketball here, there's no better time to cash in with our friends at Prize Picks. And I'll tell you this, the app is really easy to use. To qualify for a Prize Picks lineup, pick 2 to 6 players and select more or less on stat projections, including points, rebounds, assists, three-pointers, and several others across all sports. One thing I love is the new social feeds feature where you can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups with a single click. You can actually follow me on the app at Big Will 7774 to see all of my lineups. I have a lineup for the football action going on later on this year. Justin Herbert, more on his pass yards. Quentin Johnston, more on his receiving TDs. Rashid Shaheed, more on his receiving yards. New user offer. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with PrizePicks. Clickable link to download the app is in the comments and description. Over the last 3 years in Los Angeles, Johnston has shown that he is going to continue to get better. Now, obviously, we would have all loved for him to have over 1,000 yards receiving. We would have loved for him to have over double-digit touchdown numbers. But to sit here and say that he doesn't get better year after year, I think is a mischaracterization of his career. He gets more receptions pretty much every single year. He's got a higher average. He's getting more touchdowns. He's getting more yards. So he's someone that's continuing to improve, and it makes sense why the Chargers would want to hold on to him. Johnston might not have been the immediate success that everyone was hoping him to be. But to sit here and call him a failure, well, that's wrong. If Johnston was a third-round wide receiver taken, you'd be pretty darn happy with his production. When I look at this roster right now for the Chargers, I don't think that there is a clear replacement. When trades happen in the National Football League, usually it's because someone that is younger is going to outgrow the other player. Look at the Seahawks last year. DK Metcalf gets traded away because they knew what they had in Jackson Smith and Jigba. When I look at this depth chart for the Los Angeles Chargers, I don't see anyone here who is a clear replacement for Johnston, who is as big as he is, as fast as he is, that has shown that they are going to have the same success that Johnston would have in Los Angeles. There are guys who are as big as he is. There are guys who are as strong as he is. There are guys who are as fast as he is. But there isn't a single person that I see right now with this Chargers team that to me is a clear upgrade or a clear replacement for Johnston. Who should the Chargers trade this offseason? We're seeing big moves get made throughout the National Football League. Let us know who the Chargers should trade for this offseason or who the Chargers should trade away. We're going to look at what Quentin Johnston looks like with Mike McDaniel because we've seen the new offensive coordinator in Los Angeles have success with a multitude of wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, even offensive linemen, tight ends that have been good players elsewhere and made them great in his system. He's an innovative mind that knows how to get players open. McDaniel is someone who likes to use a lot of 12, 13 personnel. That's going to give Johnston potentially better matchups on the outside, easier ways to get him the football. When you look at McDaniel and Johnston so far through some of the offseason work that they've done, they do seem to be very fond of each other, and McDaniels has an offense that is unpredictable. I believe that Mike McDaniel could make him potentially elite. And if the Chargers were to trade him away when McDaniel could make him elite, well, then shoot. It's almost like you're selling Apple right before its stock price ends up hitting a gigantic number, right? So when I look at McDaniel and I look at Johnston, it just feels like we're going to be able to see the best version of Johnston this year, or at least have the best opportunity to do that. The last reason why the Chargers are not going to trade him and why I just don't see it happening, even though I probably answered this whole sentiment at the very beginning of this show by saying just Hortiz doesn't want to trade him, is that you want to make sure that Justin Herbert has all of the weapons. Now, Herbert was pretty fantastic last season, and he's been pretty good his entire career, and it's clear that he's at least building a rapport with Johnston. What I really like about Herbert and what he's been able to do so far in his career with the Los Angeles Chargers is spread the football around and find open receivers and find a new target here and there and everywhere. So that way, this Chargers team can win as many football games as possible. I think that you're going to see those numbers for Herbert really take a jump up because he's not dealing with an old, archaic offense anymore. He's dealing with Mike McDaniel. So, in my opinion, if Herbert's going to do better, well, then that leads to probably everyone else doing better. I think that's how trickle-down economics works or something like that. So don't take a weapon away from Justin Herbert. Allow him to continue to feed the ball to Quentin Johnston so that both of their stats can continue to rise. But more importantly, you are going to be able to get the most out of both of them. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. We really enjoyed making it. I'm tired of Quentin Johnston trade rumors being thrown out and about. It just doesn't seem like it's simply going to happen. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. Subscribe to the channel. You don't want to miss any rumors on the Chargers. Of course, I can't wait to see you guys next time. And as always, make sure that you bolt up.